independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. As you can see, if you're watching live on Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, I've got a little more gray in my hair than I had last week. I got a haircut to try to hide it, but oh my goodness. You know, being a business owner has its own challenges, and then moving a business has its even additional challenges. So once again, folks in Lincoln, I do apologize. Our phone system has not been resolved yet. The good folks over at Allo are doing their best to get everything up and running for us, but apparently the people at Spectrum and the people at Allo don't get along very well, and they don't talk about things. So Spectrum is having trouble giving up our phone stuff and getting it over to Allo. So as a result, one of those numbers that Spectrum seems to have trouble giving over to Allo is our toll-free number that we use for the radio show. So today we're going old school, 402-558-1110. 800-543-1110. So we still have a toll-free number for you, but that's the number we're going to use today for the program. It gets right into the studio. Normally, our 800 number just forwards to those numbers anyway, so that way, you know, no matter where you're at or where you're listening, you hear the number, and it's a toll-free number. It works out great. So speaking of working out great, we're kind of concerned a little bit about our live broadcast on Facebook today because we have a lot of people in Texas that watch us, and apparently there is a heck of a ransomware attack rallying through Texas as of yesterday. It started, I believe, in Austin. And, you know, Carol, if you're listening from Round Rock, you let me know if I get any of the geography wrong here. But it started in Austin, and it's a coordinated ransomware attack. Now, there are very few details available. We don't know what kind of ransom it is. We don't even know if a ransom has been demanded. However, because the type of attack was a coordinated ransomware attack, one of the key defining characteristics of a ransomware attack is the demand of a ransom. So we don't know how much it is or what it is. The thing is that they just got hit with this. It started on Friday late, of course, and that's how these guys do this. They time these attacks primarily if you're a business owner, so they hit on the weekend when the IT staff is out, or your entire staff may be out if you close for the weekends. If you were Chick-fil-A, you'll get hit on a Sunday. That's how this stuff works. And then they encrypt all of your stuff, all of your business records, all of your customer records, all of your secret recipes, your mac and cheese recipe. They'll encrypt all of it. And then once that's all done, you come into work and everything's encrypted, and you just see a demand on your screen demanding money. And it worked its way through Nebraska a few weeks ago. Part of the problem is state and federal agencies still use Internet Explorer to do things as default browsers. And I beat that ad nauseum. Unfortunately, nobody can do anything about it. If you work for the state and you are forced to use Internet Explorer, well, you're forced to use Internet Explorer because the software used by the state or federal agency or even local county agencies was originally designed to work with Internet Explorer. Now, back in my day, when Bill Gates ran the internet, it cost a lot of money to build software. So when you're building these software programs, they were hundreds of thousands of dollars back in the day. And nobody wants to go through that again from a budget perspective. Everybody has more important things. Everybody is right sizing, you know. So my sister said that to me the other day. My sister works in an agency, and I won't go into details where, but she works in an agency, and we were at my dad's birthday, and she's talking to me, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we had 15 people, but then we right sized down to 12." And she said it like, she didn't make fun of it when she said it. She said it like right sizing is something everybody does. You know, I've noticed I put on a few pounds. I probably need to right size my portions a little bit apparently, and eat fewer Lays and Ruffles and things like that. You know, right size. And I kind of chuckled, and I was like, wow, did you, you really bought into this. And then I realized like 3 minutes later into the conversation that she was the one that did the right sizing. I'm like, oh my gosh, she is the right sizer. You know, so it's just those funny things that you realize. So the state of Texas right now is going under this huge ransomware attack. And there's lots of reasons why this happens. But the adage right now on the internet is, if it has an IP address, it is a vulnerability. That means if it can get on the internet, or if it interacts with the internet in any way, it's a vulnerability. And so we talk about how to protect yourselves from these vulnerabilities. And every single week in the service center, we have computers that come in that are running Trend Micro, that are running, McAfee, that are running the free stuff that the internet service provider gives them. They're running Avast or AVG or sometimes nothing at all. They're Windows Defender. I have Windows Defender and I'm defended. And people are just, they're not informed enough to understand that those things aren't going to keep them safe. And so a lot of what we do here at Schrock and here what we do on the radio show is we try to educate. We try to teach you guys the things you need to look for when you're working with your computer and what you're doing. Now, part of that is what a computer is and what it means has changed dramatically in the last 2 years. So sometimes in jest on the show, I'll say, hey, if you haven't bought a computer in the last 5 years, this ain't your father's Oldsmobile. They don't build them like they used to. That's literally the case now. They are a completely different concoction all the way from the hardware through the software. I have customers that come in that haven't bought a computer in 5 years that are still running Office 2010 on their old computer. It works fine on Windows 10. They have no problems with it, and they're shocked when we build them a new computer and they want us to take their disks and codes and install Office 2010 on their new Windows 10 computer. Same version of Windows 10. The software will technically work, but Microsoft has turned off the activation servers for Office 2010. You didn't notice that because you've never had to activate it for 5 years. But they don't support it anymore. It's gone. And so when they turn the servers off to activate it, you can't activate the software, which means when you install it, it runs for 30 days and it says you must activate to continue. And you go to try to activate, and Microsoft says, unfortunately, there is no activation server for this product. And you have to buy a new copy of Microsoft Office. People are beginning to realize now that when you buy a piece of software, you don't own it. Now, this is a little bit of an easier pill to swallow than it was 5 years ago, because now you buy all kinds of things that you don't own. Did you know that if you build up a massive iTunes library on your phone and you pass away, you can't bequeath your KISS collection to your children or grandchildren? Your license to play that music ends with your death. You never owned that music. You just owned a license to play the music. In fact, if you had a CD, you owned the physical CD itself, but you did not own the intellectual property of the music on the CD. So you had a license to play that CD in your CD player, but you couldn't take it to the drive-in and play it for a crowd of people. You couldn't, take that disc and make copies of it. What about legitimate backup use? Come on, no one's backing up their CDs. Everyone's copying them. Come on. So you weren't supposed to do any of that stuff. Well, now with digital software and digital music and digital entertainment, when you go buy your copy of Avengers Endgame on Blu-ray and DVD and 4K and online, you don't get to keep that online thing. It's not something that you have that if we launched you on a Virgin Galactic space tourism ship and you got lost somewhere around the moon, you wouldn't be able to whip out your phone and watch Avengers Endgame. You couldn't commiserate with Tony Stark. It just, you can't do it because you don't have the authentication. You don't have the internet connection to watch the movie. And if you do download it to your phone, like if you use Amazon Prime and you download your music or you download your videos, the download is only valid for so many days before you have to re-download it again to re-authenticate your license to use the software. So we have this big change in software where now people are realizing that you only have a license to use the software. You never own it. And people get upset about that. People don't appreciate that. On the other hand, the world has also changed now because you don't own the software, you just have a license to use it. There is an expectation that the software maker will keep that software current and free of problems so that you can continue to use it for the allotted time of your license, which means you get updates, which means when things break, they get fixed. Old software doesn't do that. So case in point, there is a huge patch coming out for Windows 10 to keep out something called the Blue Keep bug. And what this is way back in the day when Microsoft introduced Visual Basic, which was an easy programming language, relatively so, that most people got started with in programming. This is what they taught in schools and things like that. You could go to Metro and get a Visual Basic course and get started in programming. And you could make apps and programs and things that would work on a computer. It was pretty cool. Well, that software was written originally in a time that was not as security focused as we are today. As a result, the programs that were made with Visual Basic suffer from a vulnerability that the Blue Keep bug exploits. Microsoft can patch this so that the Blue Keep bug will not impact your computer anymore. However, when it patches it, it's going to break just about every Visual Basic app ever made. Programs will just stop working. Necessarily so, but still frustrating because you want to be safe, you want to be protected from the Blue Keep bug, but this update that's coming out this week, this is a wormable flaw. This means it can spread from computer to computer to computer. You get the patch and Visual Basic programs could stop working. Now, the question is, do I have any Visual Basic programs? The answer is, you probably don't know if you do or not. The original version of Secure Updater was built on VB. The new version is not, but the original version was. That's why we made a new version, is the software got so old that we said, it's time to refresh this and update this to make it current with all of the other stuff. It's called Secure Updater. It needs to operate in a secure method. And so, or in a secure way. And so we did. So we won't be impacted by the Blue Keep bug, but lots of other programs will be. Just a ton of them. So keep an eye out. If you do a Windows update and stuff stops working on your computer, it's nothing wrong with your computer. It's that your computer is now secure. And as a result, it's broken some old stuff that's not secure. Imagine what would happen when the day comes, as it eventually will, when Microsoft removes Internet Explorer from Windows. And every state and federal agency is forced to completely reprogram their entire workflow systems within a 10-year period. You know, it's a whole new world. So now the hardware you get, now we talked about the software, the hardware you get is completely different too. The hardware that you receive when you get a new computer is designed and engineered to last you 18 months, after which time, like a cell phone, you're expected to throw it away and buy a new one. Unlike a cell phone, a nice computer can cost $800–900. Well, I guess I can't even say that anymore. You know, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus is a $1,200 phone. So I mean, you're just expected to throw it away and buy a new one. That's what you're expected to do. That's what's built into the life cycle of the device. Now, in Nebraska, in Iowa, in the Midwest, we tend to be a little more frugal. So we're going to make our stuff last a little longer. You might make your computer last a couple years. You might bring it in for regular maintenance when we have preventative maintenance checkups on sale, as we do right now, and say, I got my maintenance every 6 months. I've got my endpoint. I've got my drive advisor watching my hard drive, my secure updaters keeping all my third-party stuff up to date. The fans are clean. Everything is good. Everything is awesome. My computer is going to last maybe 3 years, maybe double its expected lifespan. But that's like the F-150 you have that has 700,000 miles on it. You have quote unquote exceeded the mechanical lifespan of the vehicle, and you're expected to replace it. Now, there's a whole lot of reasons why we do the things that we do at Schrock, but one of the reasons we build modular PCs the way we do is because we can repair, replace, and fix them. Unlike an HP desktop or a Dell desktop that is designed to not be repairable and to be disposed of in 18 months. So our computers that we build at Schrock will last 4 to 6 years as opposed to 18 to 24 months on average. Now, that doesn't mean that some Schrock computers, when we built, we have hardware in our computers and hardware does fail sometimes. That's why there are warranties. That's why we fix things when they break. But the difference is you can fix them when they break. For example, the Resolute laptop is the least expensive laptop that we sell at Schrock Innovations. It is the only computer that we sell that is completely chip on board. What that means is it comes with 4 gigs of RAM, and it will always have 4 gigs of RAM. Until the end of time when you throw it away, it cannot be upgraded. It has a Pentium processor. To the end of time, it will have a Pentium processor. It can never be upgraded. The reason we have that one model is because customers come in after going to the box stores and say, where's your $500 computer? There it is. That's exactly what you get at the box store. We have to have that as a placeholder. Now, we don't recommend that. For $99 more, you can get the Intrepid, which is our most popular computer, that is completely upgradable. You can replace the memory. You can replace the hard drive. You can upgrade it. You can get new batteries for it. You can do all kinds of cool stuff that you can't do on the Resolute, and it's only $99 more. Get the one that's upgradable, because I literally had a customer come in for a preventative maintenance checkup in the brand new Lincoln Service Center. They had the Resolute from 2016. They plunked it on the table and they said, hey, it's getting a little slow. I think I'd like a memory upgrade. That $100 that you saved in 2016 just meant you can't upgrade the memory, sir. I'm sorry. Your choice is to live with the computer with 4 gigs of RAM or buy a new computer, because this computer is designed to be replaced in 18 months. Now, he's had his since 2016. So obviously getting preventative maintenance, doing the things you're supposed to do help with the lifespan of a computer, but it doesn't change the bottom line that it can't be upgraded. So the whole world has changed, because 5 years ago, you weren't buying 18-month computers. 5 years ago, it would have been ludicrous to think that you didn't own a piece of software that you bought and you got in a box and discs for. You don't get boxes and discs anymore, because the box and the disc was just a delivery mechanism. You never actually owned the software. You owned a cardboard box and you owned a disc. You didn't own anything on it. Well, now people are starting to realize that. And so when people come in, literally I had a customer come into the service center and tell me, I like my Windows Vista computer because I just want to buy a piece of technology and I just want it to work. I want it to be like an electric typewriter that I can jump on 10 years from now and do the exact same stuff I did before. And so, that we can do that. So as long as you don't connect it to the internet and you're using old software that was designed to work without an internet connection, you could do that. But everything now, if you use Adobe, if you any kind of creative work, your Adobe CC products are all online. They're all downloaded. They're all activated online. You have to be logged into your Adobe CC account to open the programs. So if you don't have an internet connection, you're done there. Microsoft Office, same way now, all online. Downloads to your computer and installs. You can at least run it without an internet connection, but to set it up initially, you must be connected to the internet. We do have some customers that don't have internet connections at home. They use the library. They go to the library once a week to get on the internet. The world has changed to the point where that's not quite feasible anymore. You can't get the level of protection that you need. You can't get the level of updates that you need. Your computer just isn't designed to not be connected to the internet on a daily basis at a minimum. In fact, I have a story today. It says, goodbye, PC. It's another one of those, the PC is dead stories. That's never true. Goodbye, PCs. It's been nice knowing you. Hello, desktop as a service, which means your computer doesn't even have a hard drive in it now. It's like a terminal. Just like way back in the beginning, we've come full circle. It's a terminal that connects to the internet, and everything that's important to you is saved in the cloud and is instantly accessible on your computer as long as you have an internet connection. So what we're going to do on the program today, guys, is we're going to continue educating about some of the things that have changed over the years so that when you're coming in to buy that new computer, what you're getting into. If other stories we have that kind of tie into this, if you use Apple's cloud service, Apple's getting sued right now because apparently they didn't disclose it. Apple made a big deal about keeping your data safe, but apparently they don't actually store your data. They outsource the storage of your data to a third-party provider. That's not bad. We're working on a product that does the same thing right now with the exact same provider, but Apple didn't say they were doing it. And we're going to tell you where we're saving the data, so we're going to talk about that coming up on the program here. Google is warning you, you're sticking with passwords that have already been hacked. So Google is now notifying people if your Google password is one that's been hacked in the past. Also coming up on the program, Microsoft is, every 6 months they put out a new version of Windows 10. In the next one, Microsoft may be removing a good friend that you've used in the past. We're going to tell you what program you might have to add back to your computer. You make sure you're ready to take notes on a pad for that one. We're gonna tell you about that. Also, 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Those are the numbers to join us on the program. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, Gary, hang on the line. Your call is coming up first on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases, even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where, if you didn't guess from that last segment, we actually build new computers. We build laptops, we do desktops, we do everything that we can get, anything you need. We can get you all-in-ones, but we do it all with that Schrock Innovation Service Guarantee behind it. We back every product with a Schrock warranty on top of the warranty you would get from the other provider. If you get something like a laptop, we use ASUS laptops. They make some of the best hardware in the industry. So you get a warranty from ASUS and you get a warranty from Schrock so that you never have to deal with ASUS. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Those are the numbers to join us on the program. First up on the show today is Gary. Welcome to the program, Gary. How can I help you on Compute This?
Hello, Thor. Back July 7th, I visited your Omaha Service Center and purchased Semantic Endpoint for my iPhone.
Okay.
And last week, a week ago yesterday, in fact, discovered it's not working. And I thought, well, this is interesting. I played around to see if I could make it do something.
Mm-hmm.
Stopped in the store last Sunday and presented the issue to them. The young man worked on it for a while.
Okay.
And then opened a ticket with Semantic.
Correct. I think you emailed me about this earlier in the week.
Okay, I did.
Yeah.
I didn't get a response on that. Okay.
Oh, okay. So, and I forwarded that over to my staff saying, hey, guys, we need to get a response on this. So my guess is they checked the ticket. The problem with Semantic is when their software is the best security you can get, and the phone protection is a new product. So they're still working out, they're ironing out some minor problems with it still. So when we have a situation that we can't resolve, we have to open a ticket with Semantic. And
right.
When we open the ticket with Semantic, literally it's like a hurry up and wait. It's like you're waiting for the army or something. You know, we're trying to keep this guy safe, and he kind of needs the software on his phone. What's going on? And Semantic is like, oh, we're looking into this for you. And then that's the last update we get. So Gary, what I will do is I believe Scott, you have his phone number, right? Gary, I've got your phone number here. Let me follow up with you. I'm going to have Gabriel. He's in the Omaha Service Center this afternoon. I'm going to have him follow up with you and just double check the ticket and just give you even if there is no update from Semantic, we'll give you what the current update is on the situation. Because I saw your email earlier in the week, and I know that the guys looked into it again to check on the status of the ticket. And my brain tells me a natural follow-up would have been to call Gary and let him know what's going on, but that didn't happen, so I apologize for that. So I'll make sure you get a call with an update here this afternoon.
That would be great.
All right. Thanks for the call, Gary. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right. There you go. It's that easy. And Gary's in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. All you have to do to get in that drawing is give us a call, 402-558-1110 or 800-543-1110, and we'll get you in the drawing as well. All right. So I mentioned over at Schrock that we do new computers. We also do a few other things. So, for example, if you are a business that is stuck using Internet Explorer for something because your software is antiquated, the cost of building new software is dramatically lower than it used to be. There have been several innovations that are responsible for this in the computing world. But the thing is, especially if you're a government agency or if you are if you're somebody that is going to use the software for years and years and years, the thing to remember here is you will not be able to buy software anymore that you will be able to use for a decade without any modifications. So if you're putting in a bid or putting an RFP together for a piece of software to do something for your agency, your business, make sure you include ongoing maintenance and support in that RFP. because software changes will need to be made when things like, okay, let's say you build a piece of software, right? And let's say you make the assumption, because every computer on the planet has Notepad on it, right? Notepad. Everybody knows Notepad, right? You can hit start, type Notepad, and you can just type a quick note. You can, make a quick sign for the front door. Hey, we're closed today, or, whatever you need to do, you can do it real fast in Notepad. Microsoft is going to take Notepad out of the next Windows 10 revision, and then have you, if you want Notepad, you can still get it and add it for free, but you have to do that through the Microsoft Store. Now, why would they do this? Microsoft has slowly been adding features incrementally to Notepad, like for an indicator when things aren't saved. Notepad is not designed to be a fully functional word processor, right? It's designed to be like a yellow notepad on your desk. You don't use it to write a report or a memo. You use it to write a quick sticky note and stick it somewhere. So basically, it's a simple, straightforward text editor. Now, there's all kinds of fixes and things that have come out for Notepad as patches in the last few years. But again, going back to this concept of, if it's a function that you don't use on your computer, why is it there? So what Microsoft is going to do is they're going to remove Notepad, and then they're going to allow you to re-add it from the Microsoft Store. What this does is it forces you to create a Microsoft account, because you cannot download anything from the Microsoft Store unless you're downloading it to a device that's associated with a Microsoft account. And when you associate your computer with a Microsoft account, you are required to have a password to log into it. And then all the software you get from Microsoft, all your Windows, everything else over time is all saved in your Microsoft account. Your Windows licenses, your Office licenses, everything you buy from Microsoft, your Xbox purchases, all that stuff is saved in your Microsoft account. And when you need to reference it or see where your codes are to reinstall or do something like that, or you can't find the disks, you don't need to look for them anymore, because you can just click the link in your Microsoft account. It actually makes life really, really, really simple. But again, it reinforces on people who probably don't want to hear it that you don't actually own the software. Microsoft gives you a link and a code and your Microsoft account that they can turn off anytime they want. So when they decide they no longer support Office 2016, you just can't download it anymore. They're not going to kill it on your computer, because that's cruel. They'll let you keep using it until you have a problem that means you have to, wipe and reinstall your hard drive, or until there's a problem with the Office software, you have to reinstall it. Then you're going to find you can't reinstall it, and you have to buy the new version, Office 2024 or whatever. So this is the way that things are slowly and incrementally changing and moving forward. At Schrock, we do our best to keep you on top of it. We do our best to make sure that when we build you a computer, it comes with what you need. And when we design software for whether it's a governmental agency or a business or an organization like a church, we're going to design software that is designed to function in any environment, not just Internet Explorer. We don't even test it in Internet Explorer, to be honest, and because you shouldn't use it anymore. And we're going to design it in such a way that it's just like our computers, modular in nature. So it can be changed and updated relatively easily going forward. So when the need does arise for you to have a modification, whether that's a desired modification to some software, or, hey, the world changed, Notepad's not here anymore, this software assumed you would have Notepad. Well, you could obviously just install Notepad on your computer, or we could change the way the program works to not require Notepad anymore. So those are the things that we do at Schrock. So we do new computers, but we also do software design and development, and we do our best to help you out with that. 866-4, oh shoot, that number is not working, and it's just habit to say it. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Those are the numbers to join us just today. Next week, we'll be back to normal once the phone system's all moved over in Lincoln. Lois, stay on the line, or is it Lewis? Lewis, stay on the line. Your call is coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it.
Welcome to Schrock Innovations. How can I help you today?
I'm having a problem with my computer.
You're at the right place. We fix problems with computers.
That's why I'm here.
What seems to be the problem with your computer?
When I press the power button, it doesn't boot up. How fast can you fix it?
We're the fastest computer fixer in Omaha. We'll fix it fast.
How fast?
Real fast. Do you have it plugged in when you turn it on?
Of course it was plugged in. Do people make that mistake a lot?
You'd be surprised. When you press the power button, what happens?
It roars, then stops and sits.
Ooh, like a lion?
Like a what? Well, I suppose.
Sounds like a bad power supply, sir.
Is that bad?
It's not good, but we can fix it fast.
How fast?
How's that for fast?
Does it work?
Yes, sir. More purring, less roaring now.
Wow, that was fast.
Schrock Innovations is the fastest computer repair in Omaha, sir.
That's great, but all this talking is making me hungry. You guys sell sandwiches?
We do fast computer repair. If you want a fast sandwich, you have to go someplace else. Why would we sell sandwiches?
I don't know. All this fast talking is strangely familiar.
Schrock Innovations. If you want a fast sandwich, don't go there. But if you want your computer fixed and back on your desk fast, give them a call or visit their website at SchrockInnovations.com. Compute This pro tip number 187. Recently, you may have received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Microsoft or had a message pop up on your screen telling you that your computer was infected. Do not respond to these calls or messages. They're always a scam. Microsoft will never call you about your computer. Here's how the scam actually shakes out. You get the phone call that your computer's infected. The scammers hit you with some mumbo jumbo about an infected IP address. They'll ask your permission to connect and help you fix it. Once they're in your computer, they do a bunch of fake scans that detect a lot of problems that really aren't there. You see the scan results and figure your computer's in trouble. Next, the scammers will demand up to $400 to clean up the computer and set you up with a lifetime protection. Don't fall for the scam. Keep good security software installed, like Endpoint and Secure Updater, so when things like this do happen, you know you are covered. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Evan Brown. Another day of protesting in Hong Kong. Tens of thousands of demonstrators are spending Sunday in the rain marching against moves by China to extradite criminal suspects for prosecution. Hong Kong has long enjoyed a separate justice system. Marchers in Portland, Oregon grew violent at times Saturday as left-wing Antifa groups challenged right-wing Proud Boys.
Almost immediately, officers began to seize weapons. Over the course of the day, those seizures included chemical spray, bear spray, metal and wooden poles, knives, shields, and a stun gun.
Portland Police Chief Danielle Outlaw, 13 people are now under arrest. NFL preseason continues this afternoon. The New Orleans Saints are in Los Angeles to face the Chargers. This is Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Any remaining thunderstorms move out of the area quickly this morning, leaving us with partly sunny skies. Highs this afternoon around 81 degrees. We'll cool off to 64 tonight. Partly sunny on Monday and warmer with highs around 87. 90s return by Tuesday. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist David Keller on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
All righty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computers Company, where we have established that we build computers, we make software, but we also fix computers. So when your computer's doing something that it's not supposed to do, or not doing something that it's supposed to do, there is a difference. You can bring it into one of our service centers. We'll fix it on the bench for you. We also do on-site support, which is really great for businesses, where we'll come out to your office and your shop basically and fix the computer there so you don't have any downtime. Or if you're in a situation where you can't really get your computer up and out, you know, whether you're physically handicapped or, you know, there's just a lot of stairs or you just don't have time, you know, heck, Hy-Vee will deliver your groceries. We will pick up and drop off your computer for free. We'll come out to your place, we'll pick it up, we'll bring it back to the shop, we'll do the work that needs to be done, we'll bring it back to you and drop it off again, all at no charge. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Lewis is next up on the program. How can I help you today on Compute This, Lewis?
Hi, Thor. Good morning.
Good morning.
I bought a computer online recently from a major brand, and it arrived almost immediately with a motherboard problem. It is under warranty, and they are willing to send out a technician to my home to work on it.
Sure.
But I was wondering, how do you deal with third-party computers under warranty? Are you able to deal with the warranty and then just do a service charge for labor?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a really good question, actually, because we just had this in our Papillion Service Center. We had a Dell computer that came in. It was a laptop. The motherboard had failed in it. It was a nice laptop. It was one of the Alienware models, expensive. And it was under warranty. And so when my guys find out it was under warranty, that changed everything. Now, they didn't have the on-site warranty that you have where they'll send a technician out. This customer had to ship it in for repair. But the nice thing about it is at Schrock, if you have a computer that's under warranty with anybody like HP, Dell, Apple, you don't have to go stand in line at the Apple store. you can drop it off in our service center and we will go stand in line at the Apple store for you. So it's kind of nice. So basically, we don't charge anything to service third-party warranties because we don't really do anything. All we do is, put it on the bench, and then we arrange the call. We'll get on chat with Dell, for example, and Dell will send their technician out to our service center rather than your home. So basically, we get on and we say, hey, I'm Lewis, and this is my address, and come on out and fix my laptop. So you don't have to stay home and wait for the tech or deal with the tech or wonder if the tech knows what he's doing, because, yes, we have had techs that have come out that literally we've been watching them do what they do. And it becomes like a coaching session where one of my guys is like, no, you got to take that tab off first or you're going to break that retention tab and it won't go back together. Oh, okay, great. And so they have good techs too, but we keep an eye on them. They do the fix, they do the repair. We test everything out again on the bench before it goes out the door to make sure if there's a follow-up visit that's required by another technician, you don't find that out later. And then you can come in and pick it up from the service center when it's done. Now, we don't charge anything for that. The only thing that we charge for is in the event like that Alienware computer, if it has to be shipped off, one of the first things that all the major manufacturers do is they do a factory reset on the hard drive. So there is no guarantee that if you don't have a backup done before you send it out, that when you get it back, you're going to have your stuff. So there is an hour of labor if you'd like us to do a snapshot backup of your hard drive. So we'll do a backup, send it out, let them do their stuff with the hardware. And this is for situations where we know it's hardware. Like when the motherboard, when it won't power on, that's not because you have too many programs installed. It won't turn on. There's something wrong with the motherboard. So we send that out. They send it back with a freshly wiped hard drive, and then we restore that backup to it so that when you get it back, it's exactly like it was before. So there is a charge for that kind of service, but just coming out and fixing it, if you have the on-site tech support like that, heck, we'll even make the calls for you to get them out. Just drop it off at the service center and we'll take care of it at no charge.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to know.
Hey, no worries. Thank you for the call, Lewis. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. And you guys, the reason we do that is because we want to have the opportunity to earn your business and to show you what that level of service is like. Most people that have had computer service or computer work done in the past, they have not received a level of service that is that is impressive. And the thing is, it's getting worse. It is getting harder and harder and harder to find technicians that just inherently, intuitively know when Gary has a problem with his Symantec, and it's been a week since we've talked to him and he's waiting for an update, and Symantec hasn't given us an update. So there is no update. Finding techs that intuitively know, Gary should get a phone call at least telling him there's no update. Why would I call someone and tell him nothing? That makes no sense. Well, because then the customer's not wondering. It's about managing expectations. It's not about actually informing the customer in this case. And so that's a whole nother level of training. We have a lot of new people, especially in the Lincoln Service Center, that we're working up into that level of service, because literally the generation of technicians that we're getting right now, and not all of them are this way, but the vast majority of them, they haven't been trained to think critically, to problem solve. They know how to Google something and look it up and follow steps, but they don't know how to say, that looks like there's no power. So that could be a power supply or a motherboard, or maybe and they test the power supply and the power supply is fine. And they test the motherboard and the motherboard tests fine. And then they say, Thor, I don't know what to do. And, then I come in, like a god, and I say, is the power switch bad? And they're like, oh, I didn't even think of that. I mean, it's just problem solving, right? It's like, oh, wow, their switch is bad. The power switch is broken. We can put a new power switch in. It's like a $10 fix. That's right. Woohoo. So they tested everything that was like super hard and complicated, but they didn't do the basic, like, is the switch bad? So those are the kind of things that the problem solving stuff that we're teaching these technicians at Schrock as they come in the door and learn these things. And then they'll be able to, use that information, that knowledge at Schrock for years and years and years, deliver award-winning service, make customers happy. And then they'll be able to, if they want to go off in life and apply those skills in other jobs, which is really great, because, kids can't get jobs at McDonald's anymore. McDonald's is automating everything. So those kids are looking for jobs other places. And so we get some of them like, hey, how hard could it be to fix computers, right? I can fix computers easily. Then they realize it's not just fixing the computer. It's helping the customers, teaching customers, anticipating problems and solving them. So if the customer comes in and they have 2 hard drives in their computer, a reasonable assumption to make was the reason that they have the second hard drive is they wanted an internal backup drive. Double check when it's in for a maintenance checkup, like right now while they're on special. Double check to see if the backup is running, or when the last time a backup was done. If the answer is never, or the answer is weeks and weeks and weeks ago, well, if it's weeks and weeks and weeks ago, do a backup just so we have one, and then figure out why it's not running and let the customer know. If they don't have one, let the customer know they need one. So guys, this is why we do what we do. And I appreciate you trusting us with our computers. It was kind of an emotional moment when the last time I left the Lincoln Service Center, and I'm standing in that space and I'm thinking of 11 years of the, thousands of customers, hundreds of thousands of devices that have come through that shop in 11 years. The amazing people we've had over the years, going all the way back to 2001 when we first moved in there, thinking about all of the different people, the different experiences, some good, some bad. And it's amazing how much you forget when you don't stop and think about it. So it's an interesting video. It's up on Facebook where I go over some of it over there. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. All right. So we've talked about the patch or no patch. Google's warning people that you're sticking with passwords that have already been hacked. Bad password habits are hard to change, says Google, with many ignoring security breach warnings. So Google released the results of a large-scale study about password habits that show why hackers use password spraying attacks in online accounts. Now, a password spray attack, you've heard of spray and pray, right? Like terrorists, they pop up over a wall with their automatic weapon, and they don't aim, they just and they hope they hit something. And then the Navy SEAL pops up and fires like 2 bullets and kills 3 terrorists somehow. That they don't know your password, but they know you used this password before with this email address on some other service. So I'm going to go online and I'm going to try every single password, username, password combination I have and see if we get lucky. The U.S. government recently warned that Iranian hackers have been using this method to deploy destructive malware on systems, and hackers used it to gain a foothold in the tech company Citrix. They do a lot of remote access work to steal 6 terabytes of information. The technique involves getting a large number of account usernames and hitting logins with a small number of the worst passwords, on the assumption that some small percentage of people are idiots and use the word password as their password. Now, I didn't say that in the story. That's me kind of coloring it up a little bit. Microsoft's research found the top 5 passwords that were used in a spraying attack. If this is your password, you're going to get sprayed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If that's your password, you're going to get sprayed. If your password is actually all lowercase, PASSWORD, you're going to get sprayed. Oh, tricky. If your password is 000 000, you're going to get sprayed. If your password is 1QAZ2WSX, you're going to get sprayed. Now, what the heck? 1Q. Now, look at your keyboard, everybody. Go down the left side. Start with the number 1. Below that is Q. Below that is A. Below that is Z. Number 2. Below that is W. Below that is S. Below that is X. Creative, right? You're going to get sprayed. Okay. Also, you'll get sprayed if you have A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because the bank makes me put a letter in there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is super secure, and I just put an A in front of it to make sure it would work. So anyway, those are the top passwords that you're going to get hit with. If those are your passwords, if those are the passwords of anyone you know, first of all, why do you know their password? Secondly, that's not secure. That's stuff you want to look out for. All right, 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Blaine, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hi. Can you tell me if the HD Graphics 3000 is compatible with DirectX 9?
DirectX 9? I can tell you that that's not compatible with Windows 10. Are you running Windows 10?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's going to be your first problem, is that the HD 3000, let me just double check this, because I believe the first one that was compatible with Windows 10 was the HD 4250. So if I say HD 3000 Windows 10 compatible, and I enter that into the magic knowledge engine of Google, and I've gotten Windows 10 updates a couple days ago, compatibility issues with the driver. All right, so it looks like back in 2018, people started having issues with this. What matters is if you have a driver for Windows 10, hello, please see the options below. There was an updated driver in 2018, September, that allowed this to work. But since 2018 September, there have been 3 new releases of Windows 10. So I cannot tell you with certainty that that piece of hardware is actually compatible. It should be compatible with DirectX 9, however. That DirectX 9 is an old version of DirectX. They're currently on DirectX 11, which is an engine used for gaming. So DirectX 11 is the current standard. And so the HD 3000 should be compatible with DirectX 9 to answer your question. But I'm not certain that the HD 3000 graphics chip is going to be compatible with Windows 10.
Okay. Well, I'm running Windows 10. I'm up to 1803, but 1809 has not been able to down. It fails every time.
Okay, and the reason it's probably failing is it's probably detecting that your graphics card is not going to be compatible, and so it rolls back the install. So in the service center, what we do to test for this is we basically look inside your computer. Is it a laptop or a desktop?
Laptop.
Okay, so then unfortunately there's not a whole lot you can do because the graphics chip is baked into the laptop. It's got to be a pretty old laptop. That must have started with Windows 7 on it back in the day, right?
Yes.
Okay, so unfortunately it's probably pushing 10 years old.
Well, I bought it in 2011.
Gotcha. So yeah, so it's about 8 years old then. The good news is that was a nicely built laptop. The bad news is they don't make them that way anymore. And this is
Right.
exactly what I'm talking about. People in your situation are now realizing that it's not the hardware is fine. It works exactly great, just like it did the day you got it. But the software has moved to the point now where you're going to lose update support for Windows 10 if you don't go up to 1809 eventually. So
Right.
your computer is dead-ended, and there's nothing you can do about it because of that HD 3000 chipset. Now, there are some tricks that we can try to do in Schrock to get it upgraded for you. We can force it to upgrade and ignore the hardware errors, which most people don't want to do. Microsoft doesn't even make it easy to do, because if you do that, when it reboots, it's not going to have a graphics driver. It's just going to have the Microsoft default graphics chipset, which will not allow you to play games. It'll allow the laptop to work. You'll be able to open it and use Word and get on the internet and everything like that, which for some people is okay. But if you're trying to play DirectX games on it, that's not going to work. So unfortunately, you're kind of getting to that point where you're going to be, I would start asking Santa, prepare your list for Santa that you want to start looking at a new laptop around the Christmas season. Tell the kids and the grandkids to all chip in and get you a new one, because it's you're kind of at that point after 8 years where you're going to have to start considering buying a new computer, unfortunately. And that's what I mean. That's why I started the show off with the world is changing. When we do maintenance specials, guys, we get all the computers in. So I guess I should explain this. If you don't know what a maintenance checkup sale is at Schrock, you're supposed to have preventative maintenance done to your computer every 6 months. Then that includes, of course, the physical cleaning, blowing out the fans, getting everything cleaned out, especially important in laptops, super-duper important in Macs. People think that Macs don't need any maintenance. They need a ton of maintenance, and it's a big investment, so you really should have your Mac done every 6 months, especially when you're going to drop $1,200 on a laptop. Get it maintenanced. But so the maintenance checkups are normally $90. It takes about 8 hours to do the maintenance check. They're on sale right now for half off, so they're like $50. They're almost half off. Somebody pointed out to me the other day, that's not half, and I'm like, okay, it's not half. It's just slightly more than half, but it's $49.99 for the maintenance checkup right now. You can bring your computer into the service center and drop it off there. Keep in mind, in Lincoln, we're in our new location, so if you go to the old one and the signs are gone, the new one is just a mile down the road. It's real easy to find, just south of 14th and Pine Lake, big signs. But you can drop it off at any service center, or if you don't have time to drop it off at the service center, you can go to our website at SchrockInnovations.com, where you can go to shop and specials, and you can buy a certificate. And that certificate basically says you've paid for a maintenance checkup and you're entitled to use this certificate anytime in the next 6 months. And it gives you 6 months of time to figure out when you can bring it in or call for a pickup or whatever. We even send you email reminders now when you have one of those certificates and it's getting close to expiring. It's like, hey, your computer's due for a checkup and you have a certificate. Bring it in. It's time. So we kind of let you know about that. But it's definitely something you want to take advantage of. We see over 2,000 computers typically during a maintenance special, but we have over 26,000 customers in our database. So when I tell you we see 2,000 computers, that's obviously not 26,000. So there's a lot of you out there who are not doing preventative maintenance on the computers because you think that your computer, if it goes bad, I'll just buy a new one. And it's no big deal, right? Just like the previous caller, when you come to buy a new computer, you're going to realize it ain't your father's Oldsmobile. It's not the same kind of computer you're used to getting. You're going to get a new computer and you're going to be stuck in a 2-year upgrade loop. Now, of course, if you buy a modular computer, it's a 4-year upgrade loop. If you get a holiday special, it's a 9-year upgrade loop. But it's an upgrade loop all the same. So I'm saying you have to buy a top-of-the-line computer now to get a 9-year, 10-year computer experience like what the last caller had. And he probably didn't pay that much for that laptop back in the day. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Got to take our final break of the program, guys. When we come back, Rick and Ron, hang on the line. Your calls are coming up next on Compute This.
Drive Advisor is a free program from Schrock Innovations that monitors your hard drive's health and tells you if it's going bad. Download it for free at driveadvisor.com. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed semantic endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This final segment here. We got a couple calls and we got about 4 minutes to nail them out in. But in the meantime here, I wanted to mention if you're using, people often ask me about using a password manager. Can I use a password manager? What a password manager does is it creates completely insane randomized passwords for everything you do, and then it saves them all in like a password directory, so that when you go back to the websites, it automatically puts in the username and password from the directory that is a completely random password that you would never remember if you needed it. There's nothing wrong with using a password manager. I'm always nervous to use password managers because if the password manager gets breached, you are epically breached. So one of the things that's out there today that I wanted to make sure I told you about was there is a password manager that is made by Trend Micro. It's called Password Manager. And the Trend Micro Password Manager has an update today. Make sure if you're using the Trend Micro Password Manager that you install the update, because otherwise you are going to be epically breached. So this is kind of what I'm afraid of with password managers, but make sure you get the update for that. It should automatically update, but if you have Trend Micro for your provider for any services, just make sure you do a quick update to make sure you got the most recent patches. All right, let's jump into those phones. Rick, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'll give you the quick breakdown here. I downloaded Smart. It told me that my hard drive was failing.
Yep.
It was in the caution state, so I went and got a new hard drive, and I got a graphics card, but I also needed a new power supply.
Yep.
So I watched some videos. I tried to clone my hard drive. My data transferred, but my Windows didn't transfer.
Okay.
So I had to reload Windows on there. It's not the same computer that I had.
No,
it's
not.
missing a bunch of stuff. So I found my restore point from a previous, from March that I had saved before I put in the graphics card. Is it possible that I can go back and get that restore point to the previous
Unfortunately,
Windows version?
unfortunately not. So here's the thing. You have a bad hard drive right now. And when you're trying to clone a bad hard drive, we see this in the service center a lot. We make a free product called Drive Advisor that you can download and install on your computer. And Drive Advisor monitors the health of your hard drive, those smart status warnings, and tells you when the hard drive is starting to fail so we can catch it as early as possible. Because if you catch it early, we can still clone it. And this week, I don't know what's in the water, but I've seen, at least in the last 3 days, a dozen customer hard drives, their C drives going bad through Drive Advisor. So basically, these hard drives are failing and need to be replaced. So when you try to clone it, there's a free tool that you can use online. It's called Mini Tool. It's called Mini Tool. The Mini Tool Partition Manager. It has a great cloning utility that will go through and try to clone the drive. The problem is, if your hard drive has gotten to the point where there are bad sectors that cannot be read, cloning the drive becomes much more difficult because you're going to be missing pieces of it. So what it sounds like is, if it cloned the drive but it didn't bring the Windows over, it may have tried to bring your Windows operating system over, and you just got a partial clone. Basically, it couldn't bring the whole thing over. So instead of reinstalling Windows in that scenario, what we would try to do is we would try to repair Windows if possible. And it's not always possible. Otherwise, then we do a data transfer. The data transfer is a completely different procedure that we do using a different tool, Fabian's Auto Data Transfer. And what it does is it moves everything into the right place where it's supposed to be, documents to documents, desktop to desktop, all that stuff. It also moves all your program data, your app data, your settings, and then gives us a list of the programs that were installed on your computer that need to be reinstalled. And then that is what you're missing right now. That's what's going to bring you back up to where you need to be. Thank you for the call, Rick. I appreciate it. Ron, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This? Good morning.
Say, I've got Windows 10 on my laptop, which is a Samsung. It's a little older model.
Yeah.
But every time I insert my flash drive anymore, and work with it after I do a safe removal, and then I put the flash drive back in the next day or whatever, I've got to restart the computer every time.
Gotcha. Well, the solution's easy. Just don't do a safe removal. Just rip it out of there. No, honestly, the safe removal.
I've tried that too.
Oh, that doesn't work either. All right. No. So basically, there's a couple possibilities here. Number one is, does it happen with every flash drive or just that one?
Every one. I've got about 10 different flash drives. Now I've got an XP program that I have never had a problem with.
Okay.
On another computer.
So here's the problem solving. Now we know it's not the flash drive. We know it's something to do with that Samsung laptop. So there could be a BIOS update for the Samsung laptop, which I'll almost guarantee you there is, that will also slow it way down once we install it. So if it doesn't have a solid state drive, you're going to want one. But the second thing is we want to check out the software and drivers that you're using for that USB port to make sure that it's up to date and current. We'd uninstall it and reinstall it to do that for you. We can do all that in the service center, Ron. It's about an hour of labor for us to knock all that out for you, but we're happy to do that for you. Thank you for the call, guys. I need to draw a winner of the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Today's winner is Blaine. Congratulations, Blaine. Addie will get a hold of you on Monday and get you that certificate. Stay tuned, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations for the After Schrock, and we'll see you next Sunday for another edition of Compute This.
13 days until kickoff. Go Big Red. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB Omaha, Nebraska's news, weather, and traffic station.
Banking on the economy. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News. President Trump returns to the White House today following an extended stay at his golf resort in New Jersey. And like many Americans, he may be wondering what the week on Wall Street will look like.